Television mainstay for over 40 years, measuring in at 6 foot 7 inches tall, James Arness rode high across our screens for 20 years in the legendary Western TV series Gunsmoke. Playing Matt Dillon, the show made him a star spanning 3 decades from 1955 to 1975. He was born on May 26, 1923 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as James King Arness, with U between the A and the R of the last name. He attended West High School in Minneapolis and had 1 semester at Beloit College before being inducted into the draft in 1943. Afraid his poor eyesight would keep him from his dream of being a naval fighter pilot, it was actually his height that was his downfall, the limit being 6 foot 2 inches. Completing Army basic training, he slipped out to North Africa where he joined the 3rd Infantry Division as a rifleman. Audie Murphy, the most decorated American soldier of World War II, was also in the 3rd Division at the same time, while Jim was in the 7th Infantry Regiment and Audie was in the 13th. Coincidentally, besides the two of them both becoming actors, and the vast difference in their height, Audie would go on to star in a movie titled Gunsmoke in 1953. Taking part in the landings at Sicily and Anzio, Jim was the first one ordered out of his landing craft to check the depth of the water. 10 days into the Battle of Anzio, he was severely wounded in the right leg and foot from gunfire, and medically transported back to the States. His wounds would trouble him for the rest of his life. While undergoing treatment at a military hospital, Jim's younger brother, Peter, visited him. Peter, who would later take a stage name from a maternal surname, Graves, suggested Jim take a radio course at the University of Minnesota. After several surgeries, Jim received his medical discharge from the Army and once again entered Beloit College. While there, a teacher recommended him for a job at a local station, and he began his career as a radio announcer in 1945. Leaving his career on radio, he and a boyhood friend hitchhiked to Hollywood, where he began pursuing a career on the screen. He had a break when he was cast in the 1947 Loretta Young comedy, The Farmer's Daughter, playing the role of Young's brother. He took the advice of the director of the film, C.H. Potter, and dropped the U from his last name. With few other breaks coming his way, he basically lived the life of a beach bum, spending his time surfing. When he started to receive fan mail following the release of The Farmer's Daughter, he decided to take acting a little more serious. Although assured a place in cult fandom as The Thing in the classic sci-fi film The Thing from Another World, a role he was apparently embarrassed of, refusing to go to the premiere and saying he looked like a giant carrot, his big break came when he was spotted in a play by agent Charles K. Feldman, the agent to John Wayne, who introduced him to the Duke. John Wayne put Jim under personal contract, and over the next several years, Arness would appear alongside the Duke in such films as Hondo, Island in the Sky, and Big Jim McLean. Another cult film Arness appeared in was the 1953 release, Them. Recommended by John Wayne himself for the role of Matt Dillon in TV's Gunsmoke, Jim was unsure of taking the role. He asked the director of the movie he was working on at the time what he thought. Since TV and movies were in severe competition at the time, it's no surprise the director said that he thought he shouldn't, because he would then be used goods. But the Duke had different thoughts. He thought it would be a terrific proving ground for a young actor, weekly work, and even if it only ran a year or two, he would grow significantly in the craft. Recalling the Three Musketeers serials with John Wayne he had watched while growing up, Jim knew that Duke was right and took the role. Who would have thought that a couple-year training stop would turn into a 20-year career? Writing as Matt Dillon for 20 years with a strong supporting cast including Amanda Blake, Milburn Stone, Dennis Weaver, Burt Reynolds, and Ken Curtis, James Arness was the only actor to appear in all 635 episodes. His injuries from the war plagued him, though, making it difficult to mount and ride a horse, and sometimes just to walk. The shooting schedule was set up so any extensive walking would be done early in the morning before Jim's leg gave out. Gunsmoke had its last hurrah on March 31st, 1975, much to the amazement of the cast who thought they were going to head into a 21st season, 22nd, and so on. Still pulling in good ratings in the last season, the show was cut without announcement, leaving the cast to read it in the papers, the last victim of the infamous rural purge. Jim didn't stay out of work for long, though, his release from Gunsmoke making him the top pick for a new series, How the West Was Won. A planned 5-year run, the combination TV movie miniseries and TV show was a hit, especially in Europe, specifically in Finland. Co-starring Bruce Boxleitner, Eva Marie Saint, and Fionnuala Flanagan, the show ended after 3 years, the physical demands of feature-length episodes and filming on location taking their toll on Jim and his injuries. A short-lived crime drama followed, called McLean's Law. He played Jim Bowie in the TV movie The Alamo, 13 Days to Glory, as well as carried John Wayne's role in the television remake of the classic western, Red River. He reprised his role as Marshall Matt Dillon in 5 made-for-television Gunsmoke movies from 1987 to 1994. Always a little self-conscious about his height, he was glad when the production team of Gunsmoke took measures to obscure it on screen, such as having him stand in a trench or having his fellow actors stand on boxes. He also had to dye his naturally blonde hair dark for the role of Matt Dillon. Not only did Jim get his break from John Wayne, they were also friends, Jim admiring the Duke as well as the two of them sharing the same birthday. Jim also held the record for the longest-running portrayal of a character in a TV show. He was known as an easygoing man who was also shy and did not like publicity, and banned reporters from the set of Gunsmoke. With a fondness for poetry, sailboat racing, and surfing, he, as his stunt double Ben Bates put it, laughed from his toes to the top of his head. In fact, production of Gunsmoke would occasionally have to be put on hold because Jim would come down with an uncontrollable case of the giggles. James Arness died on June 3, 2011 in Los Angeles, California at the age of 88 of natural causes, and was survived by his wife of 33 years. Embodying the image of the big men of the West and portraying the strength of justice as well as the need of mercy, James Arness continues to ride tall across the hearts of many.